again, music nerds. I took a bit of a summer hiatus from making these videos, but I'm back, and we're getting right back to it with chapter 15 of Hermann Helmholtz on the sensations of tone. As usual, the link to the webbook that I'm reading from is in the description. Let's get to it. Chapter 15, the consonant chords of the tonal modes. We start by exploring chords in polyphony. This is multiple voices singing independent melodies. For these to sound good together, they have to obey the same general laws of tonality. For instance, they must refer to the same tonic, which means polyphonic music begins and ends in unison. But if we consider the compound tone of the tonic, then we add the option of the octave, the 12th, or the 5th, and the major third, which gives us these variations for a closing chord. The other major chords that we can create from the scale of the tonic is the 4th and the 5th. For the key of C major, that is F and G. Is it coincidence that this is still to this day a hugely popular chord progression? Helmholtz would say, no. The G chord is the 5th above the tonic, and that's called the dominant chord. And the F, which is a 5th below, is called the subdominant. When a section of a piece of music terminates with the passage of a dominant into the tonic chord, musicians call that close a complete cadence. We thus return from the tones most distantly related to the tonic itself, and, as benefits a close, make a distinct passage from the remotest parts of the scale to the center of the system itself. If, on the other hand, we close by passing from the subdominant to the tonic chord, the result is called an imperfect or plagal cadence. These are complete cadences with the addition of the subdominant. This succession really forms the complete close by bringing all the tones of the whole scale together again, and thus, in conclusion, collecting and fixing every part of the key. Now, this relationship between the tonic, the subdominant, and the dominant is not true of other modes, for instance, the minor mode. In a C major chord, both G and E1 are components of the compound tone C, but neither C nor G are in the compound tone E, and neither C nor E are in the compound tone G. So it's clear that C is the root of the chord, or the fundamental base. For C minor, that's not so clear. It could be the compound C with an addition of the E flat, or the compound E flat with an addition of the C. And it's this ambiguity, along with foreign combinational tones, that Helmholtz attributes the disinclination of older composers to close with a minor chord. At the commencement of the 18th century, we find Sebastian Bach using minor chords at the end of his preludes, because these were merely introductory pieces, but not at the end of fugues and chorales and other complete closes. In Handel, and even in the ecclesiastical pieces of Mozart, the close in a minor chord is usually altered with the close in a chord without any third, or with the major third. You can imagine it being a bit startling when a minor piece closes in a major chord, but could evoke hope at the end of despair, or peace at the end of war. Now, Helmholtz explains the prominence of major and minor modes in modern music over other modes. He has a hierarchy of chordal relationships, sort of in a similar way as he analyzed notes in a scale and their relationships. So, two chords that have one or more note in common are related in the first degree. Two chords which are both related to some third chord in the first degree are related in the second degree. These diagrams have all of the consonant triads. You might remember a consonant triad consists of a major and a minor third, and they're depicted as a series of thirds for us to better visualize the connections here. The majors have brackets below and the minor above, and the tonic is in capitals here. In this series of diagrams, we have only the consonant chords directly related to the tonic, and we can see that the major mode and the mode of the minor third are more sort of complete and connected than the other modes, but the minor mode less so than the major, which he goes into more depth with in his examination of each mode individually. Major mode, the Greek Lydian or the ecclesiastical Ionic, this is the only mode with the major seventh, the leading tone, which, although by his rules is pretty distantly related to the tonic, he considers it closely related in the sense that it leads you to the tonic. Next, we have the mode of the fourth. This has a minor instead of a major seventh, which Helmholtz thinks it suffers for. So here are three endings. The first two are complete cadences, and the third is a plagal cadence. What do you think? Do you agree with Helmholtz that these endings lack the decisive drive of a leading tone? I think they sound a little less final. Next, we have the mode of the minor seventh. This is close to the mode of the minor third with a minor tonic and a minor dominant chord, but it differs with this major subdominant chord. So if we try to form a complete cadence in this mode, and we make this B flat a B to get our leading tone, then both the dominant and the subdominant are major, leaving only the tonic as minor, which is a bit strange. So the way that Bach seems to write in this mode is to use this major sixth in other chords during the closing cadence. So here are two examples. That one ending in a major. And that one ending in a minor. Next, we have the minor major mode, which is a modern mode, which doesn't really have a direct ancient Greek or ecclesiastical reference point. But Helmholtz suggests that modern composers are more likely to use this than the mode of the minor seventh. But it is similarly some combination of minor and major chords. We have a minor subdominant and a major tonic and a major dominant, which gives us this all-important leading tone while keeping the minor subdominant intact. Though Helmholtz says it is unsuitable for homophonic music because of the challenging jump from A flat to B, which is why this is a modern mode, as the ancient modes were based on homophonic singing. Let's try it. Let's try and sing a minor major scale in the key of C. Okay. C, D, E, F, G, A flat, B. Close-ish. Give it a try and tell me in the comments how well you did. Okay, mode of the minor sixth. This mode is characterized by the minor second, which is a leading tone in descending passages, but it is problematic for our dominant chord. So the only consonant chords that the minor second form are not directly related to the tonic. So to avoid the impression that the tonic is F instead of C, the piece has to contain a dominant chord, and that will be G, B, D. Even though it contains two notes that are foreign to the mode of the minor sixth. It is well suited for the expression of dark mystery or of deepest depression and an utter lapse into melancholy in which it is impossible to collect one's thoughts. On the other hand, as its descending leading note gives it a certain amount of energy in descent, it is able to express earnest and majestic solemnity. It is not a mode typically used for a whole piece in 19th century music, but he does identify it in certain cadences. Here are two of Handel's. And that's where we wrap up this chapter. Helmholtz gives us this chart in kind of summation. As we transition from polyphonic music into harmonic music, our tonal modes in general shift the minor chord from the dominant to the subdominant. This allows for our leading tone and keeps each directly related to the tonic. You may have noticed that in all of our exploration of tonal modes so far, we've been sticking to the key of C. That's just for sake of comparison and simplicity, I guess. But next chapter, we are expanding past the key of C to explore the system of keys. If you'd like to read or listen to any of Helmholtz yourself, go to sensationsoftone.com and subscribe to the channel so you can catch me next time with chapter 16. I'll see you then. Bye.